Straight into the race this week, the Thursday night T2.5 race, 4 laps of the Volcano circuit counterclockwise. And this week, as you can see, is the mass start race, having to put out a big blast at the start, as everyone else is, to find a group. I'm learning with these mass start races that it's very difficult to know where you're going to fall within a group, and if a group's going to form up, I want to kind of have an option to see if there's a group there that I can sit in with or not. But a really quick start. You can see Noel in the orange already off up the front. I'm 16th at the moment out of 20. I'm just trying to see if a group comes together slightly. 4 laps, 21 kilometers left to go at this point. I don't want to blow my matches at the start because I've done that before, but also my last couple of weeks, last couple of rides on the bike have been quite difficult just to keep my legs turning over. I've not really been enjoying it. Even the zone 2 rides have not been particularly enjoyable, just because I've struggled to feel comfortable on the bike and push in any way, really feeling my legs being fatigued. So I'm hoping in this one I can turn that around. I'm feeling relatively strong from the start. I can turn it around and feel a little bit stronger this week. A little bit further on, round to the Volcano, a little group is starting to form, with me, Andy Bullymore, P Davies, S West, Ben Bishop in there as well, M Hill, putting out over 5 watts a kilo at the moment, probably doing what I was doing a minute ago, trying to catch on to the back of this group. I'm hoping now that burst at the start has happened, that I can stay in and amongst these guys to use the benefit of the draft. Bearing in mind, what have we got in there? A couple of D riders, some C riders as well. So it's a very mixed group of riders. Yeah, can I stay with them is the question. Out the other side of the Volcano then, you can see that out front, B Bishop and Barney are a little bit further down the road now. They've pulled away, and I'm struggling to catch back onto the back of this group, putting out a couple of red zone efforts, thinking this could be race over before we've even really started. Just wanted to make sure I get back on and in to benefit from this draft. We've got John Bushell's 2 seconds behind. There was another rider, but he's dropped off the bottom, unfortunately, so I can't see at this stage. But yeah, it's just a bit of an effort. I just want to find consistency, just to put out a consistent level of watts that's going to keep me in this group. And being early in the race, that's something I should be able to do before my power graph, as you know, goes all spiky again. Right, getting out of the saddle here, knowing I've got to push quite hard to stay with this group. Before the race, I realised I was still on 0% training difficulty from doing some zone 2. Changed that, but it didn't seem to change until hitting this hill. All of a sudden, about 3/4 of the way up the hill, I suddenly felt the resistance increase. And whilst it pushed my watts up and everything, I was just thrown off a little bit by the extra difficulty in having to push harder. It made my heart rate shoot up. I couldn't change gear that I was in at the time because I was out the saddle, already pushing to make sure I didn't lose the back of the group. And it totally wiped me out. Completely wiped me out. It's just, I don't know whether I would have pushed quite hard anyway on that hill, but just feeling that sudden ramp up. It wasn't from the bottom, you know, the gradual ramp up you get and the delay. It was just a sudden increase in difficulty. And we've not even got to the first lap. To start the first lap here, John Bushell comes through, and I know I'm done. There's no way I can stay in with this group. I look back and see Jay Palmer behind me, 31 seconds back, and I'm thinking in my mind, right, okay, my race is now against him, but I notice he's dropped to 0 watts per kilo and he drops out of the race. And I can see the guys disappearing off in front of me, and it's kind of, before we've even got to the first banner, it's kind of race over. So we're halfway around the second lap here, and being honest with you, I just didn't have, given how I was feeling in the previous rides I'd done during the week, I'm feeling just pretty down about my cycling. I just didn't have the mental push to go any harder than just a simple sort of slow pace for the rest of the ride. So I dropped right back. I've fallen already 2 minutes 28 behind the main group. Emma Hill's just fallen off the back slightly from the group in front. Normally I'd set myself a challenge or something at this point, trying to make sure I didn't get lapped, knowing that there's still, you know, another 2.5 laps in this race, another 10 kilometers, and those guys at the front of the race are quite quick. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't really feel like it. I thought I was in two minds, like, do I just want to even jump off the bike? But I thought, no, I can just cycle round, get some extra distance in my legs and take it really easily. So that's what I did, unfortunately. Looking back on it now, I kind of wish I'd pushed a little bit harder, but yeah, I need to get back to feeling comfortable on the bike again. I just crossed the line to start my third lap and Noel came absolutely steaming past. He'd got himself a little gap on the riders behind, 4 or 5 seconds. But we kind of knew Noel. He'd been posting messages saying that he's actually got another race to go to and might not make the end of this race. Got N. Corbin, C. Jupp, G. Moore in there as well in this group that's just gone past me. Emil Jans as well. They've only got 1 lap to go and we can jump ahead to see what the final sprint to the line looks like. And here is that race to the line. C. Jupp, Emil Jans, G. Moore and Corbin up into the orange numbers already. Noel's dropped out of the race by this point. N. Corbin and C. Jupp go for it towards the line. Who's going to take it? Orange numbers all the way. C. Jupp pulls out a bit of a lead, puts the power up down. He's going to take first. N. Corbin second. Emil Jans and then G. Moore will take fourth. Great sprint into the line, guys. And then just back behind them, we've got C. Finlayson just in front of D. Appleby here, who looks like he's going to take the next place. Craig does come over the line next then with D. Appleby just behind. I think Craig must have put a bit of an effort down because I'm pretty sure those two are close together coming into the volcano. But D. Appleby going to go over the line next, I think in 6th. And then we've got OG in with C. Swan just behind. Is that going to turn to a sprint to the line? OG slightly further ahead. Not too far to go. Just up that little windy, climby little bit there towards the end. Can C. Swan put anything to catch OG? A little bit of a gap still between the two. OG up at 3.5 watts. C. Swan 3.3. Is he going to be putting a burst to take him up this hill? Looks like it's going to go to OG, who's just up in the 4 watts per kilo. C. Swan trying to match, but unless there's a big sprint coming, next place is going to go to OG. There's a bit of a gap there that I don't think is going to come down. So next is OG. C. Swan will take 8th position, and then John and Andy are riding together here as well. Let's watch them over the line. Andy Bullimore opened up a little bit of a gap on the climb into the volcano, and he's just put down a feather as well. That will help him up here. Into the 4.5 watts per kilo, nearly 5 watts per kilo. John trying to match. Andy, I think, is putting out slightly more watts. Is he going to get caught on the line? Next over the line then is going to be Andy Bullimore, followed by Jay Bushell. And then we have A. Bowman not too far behind either, with a 5-second gap down back to P. Davies, who has S. West just behind as well. A. Bowman just crossing the line. P. Davies, that gap was closing, but P. Davies was up into the orange numbers for a second there. 5.7 watts per kilo right now up that hill. That's going to take next position over S. West. Just about. Great sprinting at the end. S. West going to come in 13th position. I'm not sure were they quite right? Have we had people drop out? I'm not sure, because M. Hill is the next over the line. I think he's the only rider between me and the end. So there must be either a couple of people in the pens, or I know Noel dropped out. So it's not going to be 20 people finishing. But M. Hill, who was in that group I was with for a while and couldn't quite stay with, must have, maybe when that we saw earlier, the little drop off the back, maybe that was what lost in the group. But coming into the volcano now, and we'll take 14th. Massive kudos to M. Hill here as well, putting out the watts, 8 watts per kilo, sprinting up this hill, still sprinting to the line. 8.7 I saw there in the orange numbers for a while. Cracking sprint into the end. I love to see it. And then I am 4 minutes 6 seconds behind, and yeah, I don't think we need to see me trundle over. Do let me know. I've slightly moved the camera angle. It's chopped off the top of my head, I can see. but it's kind of from the front rather than from the side. Not sure I prefer it or not. Let me know in the comments what you think. Does it matter? Maybe it doesn't even matter, I don't know. Anyway, let's stop watching this rubbish race from me and catch up after. So trying to find some positives from that race. I think if it hadn't been a mass start race when I was it was a very quick group, and I was pushing quite hard to stay in with them, and then just that ramp up that I had in my training difficulty as we went up that hill. I genuinely actually think that if that had been a normal race where the Ds went first, I probably could have hung on a lot longer to the Ds. So whilst I felt quite down about it at the time, actually I felt a bit stronger than I had done on the previous couple of rides that I did. The tour of Watopia rides where I just felt really, really weak. I just need to get back to, I don't know what it is, the reason I'm not enjoying my riding at the moment is because I just feel really, I'd say again, weak. My legs don't seem to have any oomph, I don't seem to put any consistency, and I can't really put my finger on why. I do feel tired, I've had a lot going on, maybe it's tiredness, I don't know. I've been tired before though and not felt like this. One thing I did do, and I know I'm not going to keep talking about it on and off, my yo-yo dieting. I did start back on keto again on the day before the race, so maybe that had a bit of an input into how Thursday went, but then I did feel a little bit stronger, so I don't know. It's weird, it was only a couple of weeks ago I was chasing to the line to get points in the World Tour. I don't know, we've got another World Tour race on Sunday. Hopefully I'll be alright by then. Possibly get on the bike to do some more Tour of Watopia riding over the weekend. We haven't got the banded ride on Saturday, so maybe I'll do that, I don't know. But yeah, best we put that race behind us, I guess, and move on to the next one. It's Saturday morning and time to finish the carpet. This bit I think is going to be slightly more difficult because I've got to do the corners in the normal part are relatively easy, but I've got to go around sort of the alcove and then down into this cupboard, and I need to take that cupboard door off because the carpet goes into the cupboard and I can't get it underneath to fit in. So yeah, I don't know, I think it's going to take a little bit longer than it took to do the other half, the first half, but yeah, let's see how it goes. So I can actually say I have fitted a carpet. I can't believe it. I'm not a DIY person at all, but I think I've done an okay job. There's a couple of places where I think, ooh, could have done a bit better there, but on the whole, I think, even cutting in around that door, it looks relatively okay, I think. Still got the door hanging off. I need to hang that back on to the wall again, and then we're going to go out and get some storage to put in here. This isn't going to be the baby's room, that's on the other side of the mansion. The other side of the house is going to be the baby's room, but that's full of junk at the moment, so this room will be where the junk goes, and in a much more orderly fashion, I hope. And then the rest of the jigsaw puzzle of stuff that's in the conservatory and the garage that can go in the baby's room. It just feels this was the big hold up, getting this room finished and being able to be used in the right way. Yeah, feeling happy, really happy that I've managed to do that. Will I ever do it? I'd never do that in an important room of the house, that is for sure, but for a room in here that's going to have, I don't know, IKEA Kallax units around the outside, I think it's all right. We have a new channel supporter, Graham Moore. Thank you so much for signing up to become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. It really does mean a lot to have your support, so thank you. It's Sunday morning now. I was going to ride the Tour of Watopia last night, but we decided for the first time, and I think in years, just the three of us went out for dinner together to celebrate. It was our 10-year wedding anniversary during the week, and obviously Mother's Day today. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. That we just go out for dinner, which was an interesting thing because obviously being back on keto again, I had a mixed grill and had a plate full of chips that I couldn't eat, which was quite difficult. It was okay, I suppose, but the main thing was really nice to go out as a family, just the three of us, and spend some time where we're not on our phones, we're not eating dinner in front of the telly, and just just have a chat. It was really, really nice. So I enjoyed that, but it did mean I got back a bit late, and I couldn't jump on the bike. Also, I had to jump on and do some editing for this video, otherwise I wouldn't have got it done in time. So I am racing today in the penultimate stage of the T2.5 World Tour. It's a TT, so I don't really know how that's going to go given the recent efforts in cycling, but we shall see. At least I'll get some points for that as well, and I can ride on Mother's Day, which is good. But yeah, I think I don't know where I stand at the moment with how I feel about cycling. I'm not enthusiastic about jumping on to ride because I know I'm going to struggle, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. Maybe I am just super tired, and hopefully I'll just get over it soon. Obviously we've got a lot of stuff going on in the house. Really pleased to get the carpet fitted. We've moved some shelving units in there now. I built a big 5x5 Kallax yesterday, which is part of it. There's still some more stuff to go in, and then it's to tidy up the rubbish afterwards as well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll carry on with the cycling next week. Hopefully continue to see a little bit of improvement and I feel a bit better, but we'll see on Sunday. But thank you so much to all of the channel supporters going up the screen now. Your support is amazing. I'll add Graham to that list as well. Rides next week. 2 rides we've got in the diary next week. Tuesday is the Tuesday Trundle, where it's not a banded ride, but we stick to about 1.5 watts per kilo. We will follow Craig around the Yellow Beacon on a relatively flat route, and then the race on Thursday night. I think next week we're back to the standard chase races where the D category go first, then the C's, then the B's, then the A's, and they chase us down. So let's fill that D category pen up a little bit, have a little bit of support. There's lots of people who have stepped up recently from the D cat to the C and even the B's. So yeah, come on D's, come along and give that category a little bit of bulk, a little bit of extra draft in the coming races. But that is the end of this video. If you had enjoyed it, do hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.